Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
That's good, Arundhati. So, yeah, what's your right there? Okay. Okay. So, students, today we are going to discuss regarding classes and objects. Before that, just I want to ask that yesterday I'm given some questions that some problem statements. Hope you are solved that problem statements. So let's continue. So today we are going to discuss regarding class and objects. So we are learn object oriented programming, right? So when we are learn object oriented programming, everything is object. But to create object, we require a class. To create object, we require a class. So within a class, and now we know that things how to create a class. So I'm not repeat that things. So today I'm discuss more things about class and objects. That means when you are declare any class, class have a constructor. If you are not declare any constructor, then also your program use a default constructor, and that default constructor are useful to initialize object, and it's initialize object with null value. So what is the constructor? A constructor is a special method in Java that is used to initialize object. It is called automatically when object is created. So how we can create a constructor? When we create a constructor, we need to understand some points. That points is a constructor must have the same name as a class. It does not have any return type, not even void. It allocates a memory for an object and initialize instance variables. Constructor can be overloaded to allow different ways of object initialization. So that's a constructor. So constructor have a two types within a Java. One is a default constructor. A default constructor is a constructor with no parameters. And second constructor is a parameterized constructor. A parameterized constructor takes the argument to initialize instance variables with a specific values. And constructor can be overloading. What is overloading? Overloading means what? When you are create a method, that method have a same name, but it's have a different parameter, that multiple parameter or different types of parameter. Then these terminology called overloading. So constructor overloading means defining multiple constructor with a different parameter list in a same class. So what is the purpose of this constructor? To the purpose of this constructor, it's called automatically when an object is created. It's allocate a memory for an object in a heap. It's assign default or user defined values to instance variable. With the constructor, we are achieve encapsulation. It's a ensure proper data initialization and hiding implementation details. It's useful for code reusability. using overloading. It's allow different ways to initialize objects. So how to create a constructor? Look here. I'm going to create one simple constructor. But for constructor, we are use one purpose. That purpose is okay. We are write a constructor. So here within a class, we are going to write one constructor. But before constructor, I'm going to declare one variable that is a type of double. So that's a variable, right? And it's an instance variable. And now, if we are not create any constructor, then also we have one default constructor, and where it will be called whenever you create an object, that default constructor it will be called. So how we can create object? Class name. After class name, object name. So here, after new keyword, whatever things we are write, it's actually constructor calling. It's actually constructor calling. So here, the object initialize with a null value, but we don't. So most of time we are not use a default constructor, which are provided by a JVM. So we can write our own constructor, but if we are not write a parameter for constructor, then that constructor are overriding that default constructor. So how we can write a default constructor? So let's see here. Its access modifier is a public. After that space, after space, uh, constructor name is a class name. So it's a class and object. It's a constructor name. After that, parenthesis. After parenthesis, curly bracket open and curly bracket close. So I'm not write any parameter for this constructor. So that constructor called default constructor. So I'm right here. It's a default. It's a default constructor. And constructor are useful. What is the purpose of constructor? Constructor are useful to initialize object. So to initialize object, we have instance variable, and I'm given a value for that instance variable here. So here I want to print. It is a default constructor. It's a default constructor, and default constructor radius value. Okay. If you notice, to call to access an instance variable, I'm using these keyword. So what is that these keyword? The these keyword are useful refers to a current object of a class, and where we are use that these keyword, we are use referring to instance variable, calling another constructor, returning the current object, passing the current object as a parameter. So that's the purpose we are use these keywords. So these keyword, it's refers a current object of a that particular class. So here we are use these keyword for a default constructor. After that, constructor can be override, overload. constructor can be overload, not a override. Override meaning is a different. We are going to learn that things when we are learn inheritance. So currently we are discuss only overloading. So when you are create multiple constructor, that means you are overload constructor. So here I'm going to demonstrate one another constructor, that is a parameterized constructor. That's a parameterized constructor. And here want to initialize that a radius. And here I initialize radius, these dot radius equal to 4.5. So the radius variable I'm initialize here within that parameterized constructor, right? But we have parameterized constructor. That means whatever value are given by that object, we need to set that value to a radius. So that's why it's a radius. Okay. So that these dot radius, it's an instance variable, and that instance variable holding value of a local variable. That's a highlighted thing. It's a local variable. So we are create one parameterized constructor. So it's a parameterized constructor. It's called parameter. So here we are using these to refer a instance variable, right? So for acknowledgement, I need to write it's a parameterized constructor, and we have a radius value. That's the radius value which we are initialized. That will be initialized there. Okay. So that's a parameterized constructor. Now let's create. Let's create one new constructor that creates a new object using another circle object. So for that reason, I'm going to create one another constructor. So here I'm going to override that for parameterized constructor. I'm going to overload that parameterized constructor because we are writing multiple constructor within a same class. That means we are overloading constructor. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm create a new object using another circle object. So that's why I create one constructor, and within that constructor, I will call parameterized constructor. Is other circle dot radius. Okay. So that's a overloaded parameterized constructor. Okay. So let's summarize. We are write a constructor. What is the constructor? Constructor is a special method. That special method have a purpose. That purpose is what? To initialize object. The constructor, when we are write, we need to remember some key points. That key points what? Constructor we are write within a class. Constructor have a same name like a class name. Constructor not have any return type. Constructor are invoked whenever you create an object. Okay. So here I'm create a first constructor, that's a default constructor. That default constructor just printing radius value. To print that radius value, I'm use these. So these are keyword. What? These are keyword. And that these keyword are useful to call a method within a class, instance method within a class, to call constructor within a class, to call instance variable within a class. We are use these keyword. And these refer current object of class. It's a reference of current object of class. So here I create a default constructor. After that, I create a parameterized constructor. The parameterized constructor holding one single value, that type of double, and parameter name is a radius. After that, line number 10, I'm initialize instance variable with a local variable. And after that, I just printed that a value which we are initialized to an instance variable. After that, I create one another constructor. But that constructor holding a different parameter. That constructor holding a object as a parameter. And that object is our class object. And after that, within that constructor, we need to call one another constructor. So line number 15, I'm call a parameterized constructor. Which constructor is second constructor? That's using these, and within a parenthesis, the object of these with a radius. The object of this with a radius. So it's a call parameterized constructor. And here we are create new object using another circle object. So I hope you are understand constructor. Is it clear? Yes, Tanishka, what's your question? Parameterize question. Tanish,
No,
you
sir, I
share.
was saying that there was some typo mistake in your comment.
Do you have any question, Tanish?
No, sir, no.
Okay, okay. So when we are a call constructor within a constructor, make sure that calling statement is your first line. Like suppose I have one another variable, that is um, float float pi. I have suppose I have one another variable that float pi, and I want to initialize that float pi within my class object constructor, that third constructor, line number 50. So if I initialize these things like these dot pi equal to 3.14 amp, then it's wrong. Always the calling constructor, it's your first statement. So that's why you need to write in that way. Calling constructor, it's a first statement of your constructor. So please remember that things. So let's complete this program. This Okay, we need to calculate circle area. So that's why That's why I need to create one another method to calculate circle area. And it's a return double value. Okay, it's a return. We have one library within a java.lang package. That library is a math. Within that math library, there are number of methods and variables are pre-declared. So from math library, we are use a pi value. So pi value we are use. So that's the simple things I'm use here using these. Once we are declare that things, let's create one another method create to show details. So now I need to calculate area. So that's the area. So calculate area is the instance method. So instance method are all a call with these keyword. Okay, that's done. So let's create object. So object name is obj. That's calling default constructor. After that, using obj, I'm going to invoke show details method. So it's showing the details regarding our first object. Let's call one another method that using new object class. It's object 2. And that's a parameterized constructor. So that parameter we need, it's a second constructor, right? So second constructor have a single parameter that is a radius. That so that constructor we need to call. So radius is a 4.0. It's a double value, so no need to use a postfix f. After that, that object dot show details. After that, we have one another constructor, third constructor, that also parameterized constructor. It's a constructor overloading. So for third constructor, we need to create one another object. So object 3 equal to new. And that's the third constructor we are going to call here. So here I need to pass object as a parameter, and that object we are pass object 2. So that things we are use here using a copy constructor. That means that terminology called copy constructor. So make clarity of output. I need to add some statement here. So it will be clear. It's a default constructor. After that, we require one more thing for parameterize. Constructor 2. It's a default constructor 1. After that, we require one another statement, that is a constructor 3. It's also called copy constructor. It's also called copy constructor. So let's check. And that's the values we have from our different constructors. So I hope you understand constructor and these. Okay, let's summarize these all things for you. So let's summarize. We are discuss constructor, right? So when we are discuss constructor, we need to understand what is the constructor. Constructor is a special method that is used to initialize object. That constructor call automatically when an object is created. The constructor must have a same name as a class. It does not have return type, not even void. It allocates a memory for an object and initialize instance variables. Constructor can be overloaded to allow different ways of object initialization. There are two types of constructor. One is a default, second one is a parameterized. What means a default constructor? When you are not create any constructor, the JVM provide a U constructor and that initialize your object with a null value. But if you want to initialize your object with a default constructor, then you can create a constructor with the same class name without parameter, and using that things you are create default constructor. After that, what is the parameterized constructor? Which constructor have parameters? That constructor called parameterized constructor. Here we are overload a default constructor using a parameter. So overloading means what? When you are create multiple methods within a class with the same name but with a different type of parameter and different number of parameters, then it's called overloading. Overloading not depend on return type. It's a depend on only on parameter. So here we are create one parameter and here within a, sorry, we are create constructor, and within that constructor, we are initialize instance variable with a local variable. After that, I want to show you one more thing, that copy constructor. For that purpose, I create one constructor and pass one object as a parameter for this constructor. And within that constructor, I invoke one another constructor. Second constructor I'm invoke here using a parameter as an object. So what's the flow of execution? How you can invoke that things? That's the flow of execution. That means what? Look here, we are create default constructor, right? And for default constructor, we are use a object, that is a obj. So that obj only call a default constructor. That means these part are called default constructor. That highlighted part called default constructor. It's have printed one statement, that default constructor radius, and what is the default value of this radius? That is a printed 0.0. That's a printed 0.0. After that, we are create one another constructor. Within that constructor, we are initialize that radius value, right? We are initialize radius value. So it's showing radius value 4.0. After that, the next constructor, that's parameterized constructor. It's called copy constructor. That copy constructor holding a parameter as object. And within that constructor, we are invoke one another constructor. That means that second constructor, we are invoke within a third constructor using these. So when we are create these object, second constructor object, when we are create second constructor object, it's called only these things. But when we are create the third constructor object, that obj, which we are create obj3, we are create. When we are create obj3, it's a call third constructor first. So it's a goes to here. Within a third constructor, it's identify there are one invocation of second constructor. So it will be goes to a second constructor, initialize radius, the print that statement, and again it's uh, searching the next statement from third constructor. So that's the flow to invoke third constructor. So I hope you are understand what's the flow of execution of this code. Okay, I go with the chat message. There are any limitation on number of types of constructor of a class can have? No, there are not have any limitation. Limitation is only for, there are rule. That rule is what? Either you can use a different type of parameter, or either you can use different number of parameter. Is any other question regarding constructor and these? These we are used as a current object reference, and where we are used this to call constructor, to call a method, to call instance variable. We are used these. There are one another message that screen are not visible. I just want to check that my screen are visible there. Okay, thank you. So we are discussing classes and objects, right? And now you are aware about that things, how we can create a class and how we can create an object. So when we are discussing classes, there are a number of classes available within a Java. That means there are abstract class, there are inherit classes are there, there are interfaces are there. So let's see, there are wrapper classes are there. So let's see one by one. First thing we are going to discuss that abstract class. So for that reason, for demonstrate that abstract class, I need to create one another file. And I'm given a file name that is a abstract class. Okay. So before write anything, let's discuss that things. So what is the abstract class? An abstract class in a Java is a class that is a declare using abstract keyword. That class is abstract class. Hmm? It is used to define a blueprint for other classes to extend. Abstract classes can contain both abstract methods and non-abstract methods. So what means abstract method? Which method declare with the abstract keyword, but that method doesn't contain any body. Then that method called abstract method. And normal method we are write with a body, right? So that abstract class we are declare using abstract keyword. That means any class that is a declare with the abstract keyword becomes a abstract class. It can contain both abstract and non-abstract methods. That means abstract method do not have any body, and it must be implemented in a derived classes. Abstract class cannot be initiated. That means you cannot create an object of abstract class directly. What I say? Directly, you are not create object of abstract class. We are use abstract class to achieve abstraction. That means abstract classes provide a way to enforce contract for subclasses, ensuring that implement required method. So that's regarding abstract class. So let's discuss something regarding abstract method. So what means abstract method? The method without a body. It's a declare inside abstract class, but does not have any implementation. That method called abstract method. We must be implemented that abstract method within a subclasses. Which class are derived? That abstract class. That means any class that extend abstract class must implement the all abstract methods. Abstract method cannot be final and static. So what means a final? Final means constant that never change. So abstract method cannot be final and static because they must be overridden. That's why it cannot be final and static. By default, they are public. So access method have a public visibility by default to allow implementation in subclasses. Within abstract class, it is a possible that we can create a constructor. Uh, so abstract class is not create object, then why we required to use a constructor? In abstract classes, help initialize fields, enforce initialization in subclasses, and promote code reusability. So for that reason, we are use constructor within abstract class. They ensure that any subclass will be properly initialized with the required parameters. So where we are used, that means what is the use case of this abstract class? For example, banking system. A bank account class define common features like deposit, withdraw, but subclasses like a saving account and checking account implement their own rules to enforce common behavior while allowing specific implementation. So let's create one abstract class. Okay, I'm going to create one abstract class here. So, okay, how to create abstract class using abstract keyword. So abstract, after abstract, the class, and for demonstrate that abstract class, we can use one real-time example. Mm, I hope you are aware about pressure control. That means pressure unit. That unit is a KPA, Pascal. So there are number of units are there. That's a convert that's useful to measure air pressure. So we can use that example. It's a real time. So we need to calculate air pressure. Okay. For that reason, to calculate air pressure, how we can create a program? To create a program regarding calculate air pressure, first we require to understand how many units are there and what's the formula to conversion of these unit. Only that things we require. Okay. So that things we can get from internet, that information. And here we are use that information within our class, abstract class. So abstract class is class name, what we are doing, pressure converter, right? So abstract class. So it's a pressure converter. That's abstract class. Within that abstract class, we can declare one value. Declare one value. So for declare value, I'm use one access modifier that is a protected. So what means a protected? When protected is a access modifier. So how many access modifier are there? There are default access modifier. There are public access modifier. There are protected access modifier. There are private access modifier. So what means a public? When you are declare any class, any variable, any method, any constructor, public, then that member, that class or that class members will be available everywhere. When you are declare any class member protected, what means a class member? The method, constructor, variable, that's our class members because they are created within a class. So when we are user protected, when we want uh, to access that member outside a class, but where which class are extend that pressure converter class, on that class we required to use access that class member, then we are use a protected. So protected always use when we are going to use inheritance. So here we are going to use inheritance. So what means inheritance? Inheritance means what? When one class are passed their behaviors and property to another class, then it's called inheritance. For example, the parents are pass some property to their childs, like hair color, like skin color, like height. That all property we are get from our parents. So that's the inheritance. So here I declare one protected variable. That's a protected double, and it's a value. So here we are input pressure value. After that, I'm use that all things which we are which we are learn. So constructor we are learn to initialize that value. I'm going to use here constructor. In that constructor, we are write within our abstract method. So abstract method are able to hold constructor, but it's not possible directly to create object of abstract method. Yes, Hamida. Saili, I'm not understand your question. Hamida. Okay. So currently we are discuss abstract class. So let's create one constructor within abstract class. So its constructor is a public because we want to access it everywhere. So public, the class name, it's a pressure converter. We require to initialize value. So double, and here we need to initialize value. Okay. So we are just initialize value within abstract constructor. After that, let's create one abstract method. And for abstract method, I'm use a keyword that is abstract. So abstract method we are going to create here. That method is default public. So public abstract, and the method name is a convert. It's a return value. Okay. Okay. So here we are create abstract method to be implemented by subclasses. After that, abstract class can be hold the concrete method. That means a normal method. So concrete method, it's we are right for display result. Okay. So public void display conversion, and it's accept unit. It's accept unit. Okay. So within we require to display unit, right? So this is out. The value, so these dot value, these dot value, convert, converted to that unit, and the conversion. What's the method? Convert method. So it's a return that desired result. So that things I'm right here within a concrete method to display conversion value. Okay. Okay. Once we are right these things, that's abstract class is done. Once again, I summarize these all things. एक message आला है screen नाही दिसत. I just want to check that things. Is my screen are visible and my voice are properly audible to you? Okay, Avantika, please check your signals, that network signals. Okay, let's summarize these things. Abstract class. To achieve abstraction, we are use abstract class. What means abstract class? Which class, when we are create, that use one keyword, that keyword is abstract, that class called abstract class. The abstract class holding abstract method and concrete method. What means abstract method? The which method we are create with abstract keyword, but that method doesn't have any body. That method called abstract method. That's the abstract method. That's the abstract. The abstract class can be holding concrete method. What means a concrete method? A normal method like we are created every day. That's a normal method. It's called concrete method. So concrete method also holding by abstract class. The abstract class, when have a abstract method, we must be implement that abstract method on that class, which class are extend our abstract class. After that, the abstract class have a constructor. What is the purpose of this constructor? It's help to initialize fields, enforce initialization in subclasses, and promote a code reusability. Using that constructors, we are ensure that any subclass will be properly initialized with the required parameters. So that's why we are using constructor. But the abstract class are not initiated with a instance. So it is not possible that it's directly not possible that we can create instance of abstract class, right? So that's the abstract. So is any question regarding abstract class? Sukanya, main is a method. It's a main method. That main is a name. So you can create any name like void main is out. It's a non-abstract method, right? So main is a name. you can use that name according to your requirement. So it's possible that we can create any method. Or your question is different. That means, is it possible that we can create a public static void main within abstract class? That's your question. It's not possible. Because why it's not possible? When we are called main, it's a create one object. Of course, that our JVMR create that object for us. And main is a static. It's allocate a memory. And when it's allocate a memory, when a class is loaded into memory, here, here we are not able to create a object of our abstract class. Of course, there are some different ways are available to create that things, but it's not happen directly. So that's why we are not use main method directly within our abstract class. Okay, is any another question regarding abstract class?
Sir, we can use an interface instead of using an abstract class.
We are going to learn that things, not it right now. Did you understand abstract class? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So again, I'm saying that same thing. What we are going to learn today, we are learn classes and objects. We are going to learn that number of classes, how many number of classes, uh, like abstract class, like inheritance, like interfaces. That all things we are going to learn today. That's the OOPS concepts, and I'm going to clear that all views one by one. Make sure that you have a good signals for your network. Okay, so that's the abstract class. Now, I want to use that abstract class. How it is possible to use that abstract class? Because it is not possible to create directly object. So who can create object of that abstract class? So look here, when we are use inheritance, then it is a possible to use that abstract class. So what means inheritance? When one class pass their properties to another class, that's relationship called inheritance. For example, parent pass some property to child like color, height, uh, hair, eyes. Like that, a class can be pass a property to another class using inheritance. So these inheritance have some types. The first inheritance is a single inheritance. That means there are only one parent and one child. Next type is multi-level inheritance. That means there are a chain. Every child have one parent. After that, there are hierarchical inheritance. That means what? There are single parent have a multiple child. Only these three inheritance type are supported directly by classes. But there are another type, that is a multiple inheritance is there, hybrid inheritance is there. Of course, it will be achieved, but it will be achieved using a different way, using interfaces, not directly a classes. So here within inheritance, uh, base class called superclass, base class called parent class, child class called subclass. So let's extend, and for extend that things, we are going to use inheritance. So I'm going to create one another class. Look here, that's our main class. That class are ended here. So for demonstration, I'm use that things comment end. Hmm. That our pressure converter abstract class, that abstract class end here. And now I'm going to create one subclass. So class. So we need to convert atmosphere to kilopascals. That means kPa. kPa. So that's why the class atmosphere at ATM to kPa. kPa. That's the class name. That class are extend a parent class. And what's a parent class? Current we have one abstract class. So we are use that pressure converter is a parent class for at atom to kilopascal child class. So that's why we required to use one another keyword within a inheritance. That keyword name is a extends. What's the keyword name? Extends. So that's a pressure converter. So that's a pressure converter. Pressure converter is a parent class for atom to kappa child class. After that, curly bracket open, curly bracket close. When pressure converter are extended by subclass, we require to implement abstract method. Abstract method defaultly final. It's not a final, and it's not a static. So that's why we can override this method. So here we are going to see override concept. So what means override? When you have same signature of method. What I say? Signature. Signature include a return type. Within overloading, we are not use a return type. We are not accept return type. But in overriding, we are use the same signature. That means the same return type is required with the same parameter. That means method overriding. So what means overriding? When you have a same signature of method within a parent class as well as within a child class, then child class method are overriding a parent class method. Oh, is it clear? Overriding. After that, here we need to implement that abstract method. So that's why I'm going to implement abstract method, but within our pressure converter, we are use one constructor. So that's why we require to write this constructor. So here, first I'm write a constructor. So that's a constructor, and that constructor holding one parameter, that is a double type value. Double type value. Now we required conversion factor for convert atmosphere into kilopascal. And to hold that things, I'm going to create one variable that is a private. What means a private? When you use that private access modifier, then that class member you can use within only class. It is not possible when you use a private member, declare a private member and access outside of class. It's not possible. So private member always access inside a class. So private final. What means a final? Final means what? It's a constant. It cannot be changed at runtime. It cannot be changed. It cannot be a change within hard coding also. So private static final, the value is double. When you create any final variable, then you can use uppercase letter for name of variable. So it's a conversion factor. So I'm going to search that value. Okay. That things we need to declare conversion factor within our method, sorry, our class. So that's a conversion factor. After that, within a constructor, I need to call a parent constructor. So a parent is abstract method, abstract class. And from that abstract class, I need to call a constructor. To call a constructor, to call parent variables, parent methods, we are use one keyword. That keyword is a super. That keyword is a super. So using super, we can call parent method, parent constructor, parent variables. So here I'm going to call parent constructor. So that's a parent constructor are called there. After ending constructor, I need to implement abstract method. Amidan and Tanish, look here. Currently, we are focused on abstract classes and inheritance. When we are going to learn interface, on that time you can get a knowledge more about interface. And on that time, you can ask that questions regarding interface. If I answer right now, then most of people who are not aware about interfaces, they are blank. So,
Okay, sir.
yes, conversion factor is universally global. You can find out it's within a formula. That formula is available. Which formula? The
Yeah.
conversion formula. Okay. After that,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
okay. After that, we require to implement abstract method. So here I'm going to implement abstract method. To implement abstract method here, we are going to use annotation. What means the annotation? Look here, when you are perform any action, before a compile that action, the compiler know regarding some metadata regarding that action. So here you're telling to compiler whatever things I'm going to write below side of this annotation, that things belong to override. So that's why I'm going to use annotation over. So you can say, sir, why it's necessary? Without annotation, also compiler can compile our program. Yes, of course, without annotation also, compiler can compile our program. But when we are use annotation, it can be uh, hold some metadata regarding that method or regarding that member. So compiler can perform that action fastly or efficiently. So that's why we are use annotation here. So it's override. Over. When you write annotation, you are use @ symbol. After @ symbol, first letter is a capital. So it's a override annotation. And at below side of override, I'm going to write one method, implement one method, public. What's our method? It's a return. Yes, it's a return. So that method I'm going to implement here. And that method return value into conversion factor. So that's conversion or return there. Conversion or return. After that, so here we are write one single inheritance. That single inheritance means what? There are relationship one class to another class. There are only one single parent and single child. When we have relationship like this, it's called single internship. This relationship also called is a relationship. What is a relationship? Yes, conversion factor is a static and constant. Why it's a static and constant? Actually, we required that conversion factor constant. It's not change. So we can multiply it by value and getting a result, converted result. So that's why we are create it's a final, that means constant, and it's allocate a memory, static memory. So it's memory are not changed there. It's not change a value for when we are use final. So static memory and constant value we are using static and final. After that, okay. So that's ATM Kipa is ended here, right? Okay. So I hope you are understand abstract class. I hope you are understand single inheritance. Is it clear there? So what the things we are learn? Once again, I just summarize what's the things we are learn. We are learn a constructor. After that, we are learn these. After that, we are learn abstract class. After that, we are learn single inheritance. After that, we are learn super keyword. So before move on next part, is any question there regarding this? Okay, 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 Kaushik, no problem. For a request, Kaushik requesting that thing summarize in Marathi, no problem. I will do that things. कन्स्ट्रक्टर. कन्स्ट्रक्टर आपण शिकलो. कन्स्ट्रक्टर म्हणजे काय? आधी त्याचा पर्पज काय कन्स्ट्रक्टर? तर ऑब्जेक्टला इनिशियलाइज करण्यासाठी आपण कन्स्ट्रक्टर वापरतो. बरोबर? मग कन्स्ट्रक्टर चे की पॉइंट्स काय? कन्स्ट्रक्टर लिहिताना कुठलाही रिटर्न टाइप आपण लिहित नाही. कन्स्ट्रक्टरचं नाव हे क्लासच्या नावानेच आपण लिहितो. कन्स्ट्रक्टर हे 2 प्रकारचे असतात. एक डिफॉल्ट कन्स्ट्रक्टर म्हणजे आपण कन्स्ट्रक्टर नाही तयार केला आपल्या प्रोग्राममध्ये आणि डायरेक्टली ऑब्जेक्ट तयार केला. तर आपल्याला कन्स्ट्रक्टर कोण प्रोव्हाईड करतं? JVM प्रोव्हाईड करतो. जो कन्स्ट्रक्टर इनिशियलाइज करतो ऑब्जेक्टला नल या व्हॅल्यू. पण जर आपल्याला ऑब्जेक्ट इनिशियलाइजच करायचे असेल, तर आपण डिफॉल्ट कन्स्ट्रक्टर ओव्हरराईड करू शकतो तिथे. म्हणजे JVMचा कन्स्ट्रक्टर न वापरता आपण आपला कन्स्ट्रक्टर तिथे लिहू शकतो. ज्याला पॅरामीटर नसतं. मग असा कन्स्ट्रक्टर म्हणजे काय? डिफॉल्ट कन्स्ट्रक्टर ज्याला पॅरामीटर नाहीये. त्यानंतर इथे पॅरामीटराइज्ड कन्स्ट्रक्टर पण अवेलेबल आहेत. जे आपण लिहू शकतो क्लास नेम विथ कन्स्ट्रक्टर पॅरामीटर्स. मग जेव्हा डिफॉल्ट कन्स्ट्रक्टर पण एका क्लासमध्ये असतो आणि पॅरामीटर कन्स्ट्रक्टर पण एका क्लासमध्ये असतो, तेव्हा या मेथोडॉलॉजीला म्हटलं जातं ओव्हरलोडिंग. मग ओव्हरलोडिंग म्हणजे काय? जेव्हा कधी आपण मेथड्स लिहितो एकाच नावाने, पण डिफरंट पॅरामीटर वापरून किंवा डिफरंट नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर वापरून, डिफरंट टाइप ऑफ पॅरामीटर वापरून किंवा डिफरंट नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर वापरून जेव्हा आपण लिहितो, तेव्हा त्या मेथोडॉलॉजीला म्हटलं जातं ओव्हरलोडिंग. आणि ओव्हरलोडिंग कुठे होतं? फक्त आणि फक्त क्लासच्या मध्ये होतं. क्लासच्या बाहेर ओव्हरलोडिंग होत नाही. त्याच्यानंतर आपण काय शिकलो, की these कीवर्ड. these कीवर्ड कशासाठी वापरलं? तर these कीवर्ड हा रेफरन्स असतो करंट ऑब्जेक्टचा. म्हणजे आता मला कुठलीही गोष्ट इन्स्टन्स किंवा मेथड्स, इन्स्टन्स हे व्हेरिएबल पण असू शकतात. इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल आहेत, इन्स्टन्स मेथड आहेत किंवा कन्स्ट्रक्टर आहे. आता हे मला जर इन्व्होक करायचं असेल किंवा आपण म्हणू कॉल करायचं असेल, तर आपण these कीवर्ड वापरू शकतो. मग इथे मी डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट तुम्हाला दाखवलं, की these कीवर्डनी व्हेरिएबल कसा, इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल कॉल कसा केला. these कीवर्डनी मेथड कशी कॉल केली. these कीवर्डनी कन्स्ट्रक्टर कसा कॉल केला. मग these कीवर्ड वापरताना कन्स्ट्रक्टर मध्ये एक रूल आहे आणि तो रूल काय? these कीवर्ड वापरून जेव्हा कन्स्ट्रक्टर कॉल करतो, तेव्हा तो स्टेटमेंट पहिला स्टेटमेंट पाहिजे आपल्या कन्स्ट्रक्टरचा. त्याच्यानंतर आपण शिकलो ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास. आता या ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास म्हणजे काय? की जो क्लास ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट कीवर्डनी आपण लिहितो, त्याला ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास म्हणतात. मग याचा पर्पज काय? टू अचीव्ह ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्शन म्हणजे काय? टू हायडिंग डिटेल्स. म्हणजे यातल्या गोष्टी हाईड करण्यासाठी. मग ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्शन काय फक्त ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासनी अचीव्ह करता येतं का? नाही. तर याच्यापेक्षा चांगली गोष्ट आहे इंटरफेस. कधी कंपनीमध्ये आपण जेव्हा प्रोग्राम करतो, तेव्हा ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्वचितच वापरतो. मॅक्सिमम टाईम आपण इंटरफेस वापरतो. मग ते का वापरतो ते डिस्कस करू जेव्हा आपण इंटरफेस बघणार आहोत. मग त्याच्यामध्ये ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासमध्ये आपण व्हेरिएबल डिक्लेअर करू शकतो. मग इथे प्रोटेक्टेड ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायरचा व्हेरिएबल डिक्लेअर केला. मग ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर किती आहेत? 4 प्रकारचे ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर. डिफॉल्ट म्हणजे काय? जर ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर लिहिला नाही, तर तो डिफॉल्ट असतो. दुसरा ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर काय? पब्लिक. पब्लिक ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर लिहिला तर तो मेंबर कुठेही आपल्याला वापरता येतो. तिसरा ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर काय? प्रोटेक्टेड. सब क्लासेसमध्ये आपल्याला तो मेंबर वापरायचा असेल, तर प्रोटेक्टेड ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर वापरतो. आणि प्रायव्हेट. प्रायव्हेट ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर कधी वापरतो? जर क्लासच्या बाहेर तो मेंबर वापरायचा नसेल, तर आपण प्रायव्हेट ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायर वापरतो. मग या ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायरनी अचीव्ह काय होतं? तर ॲक्सेस मॉडिफायरनी एन्कॅप्सुलेशन अँड ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्शन अचीव्ह होतं. मग ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासमध्ये कन्स्ट्रक्टर लिहिता येतो का? लिहिता येतो. ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासमध्ये कन्स्ट्रक्टर लिहिता येतो. ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासमध्ये ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड लिहिता येते. ज्या मेथडला ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट कीवर्डनी आपण डिक्लेअर करतो. ज्या मेथडला बॉडी नसते, ती मेथड असते ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड. पण ही ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड आपल्याला इम्प्लिमेंट करावं लागते सब क्लासेस मध्ये. त्याच्यानंतर ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासमध्ये कॉन्क्रीट मेथड असतात का? तर असतात. इथे आपण डिस्प्ले कन्व्हर्जन मेथड क्रिएट केली. त्याच्यानंतर आता हा ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास लिहिला, पण याचा यूज कसा करायचा? याचा यूज कुठे होऊ शकतो? जो कोणता क्लास या ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासला एक्सटेंड करेल, त्या क्लासमध्ये याचा उपयोग होऊ शकतो. मग त्या क्लासला आपण काय म्हणतो? सब क्लास म्हणतो किंवा चाइल्ड क्लास म्हणतो. आणि मग त्यावेळेस हा ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास काय झाला? पॅरेंट क्लास झाला किंवा सुपर क्लास झाला किंवा बेस क्लास झाला. म्हणजे इथे आपण इनहेरिटन्स वापरतो. ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास आपले सगळ्या प्रॉपर्टी पास करतो कुणाला? चाइल्ड क्लासला. मग इथे इनहेरिटन्स साठी आपण एक कीवर्ड यूज केला ज्याचं नाव होतं एक्सटेंड्स. मग या एक्सटेंड मध्ये सगळ्या पहिल्यांदा आपण कन्व्हर्जन फॅक्टर डिसाइड करून घेतला. त्याच्यानंतर कन्स्ट्रक्टर लिहिला आणि त्या कन्स्ट्रक्टर मध्ये एक सुपर नावाचा कीवर्ड वापरून एक व्हॅल्यू पास केली ऍज अ पॅरामीटर. म्हणजे याचा अर्थ काय होतो? की हा सुपर जो आहे ना, पॅरेंट क्लासचा कन्स्ट्रक्टर कॉल करतो. Always when we are use a super, when we want to access parent class members, including constructor, variable, and methods, then we are use a super. It's work like these, but these only work within a okay, मी परत इंग्लिश चालू करू. these फक्त क्लासच्या आतमध्ये यूज होतो आणि सुपर हे इनहेरिटन्स मध्ये यूज होतं जेव्हा आपण पॅरेंटचे काही मेंबर्स ऍक्सेस करतो चाइल्ड मध्ये. त्यानंतर आपण डिस्कस केलं अनोटेशन. आता हे अनोटेशन काय आहे? अनोटेशन आपल्याला बनवता पण येतं, पण आपण बनवणार नाही आहोत. अनोटेशनचा उपयोग काय? तर कंपायलरला मीटर डेटा पास करण्यासाठी अनोटेशनचा उपयोग होतो. यस, कंपायलरला मीटर डेटा पास करण्यासाठी अनोटेशनचा उपयोग होतो. मग ह्याच्यामध्ये अनोटेशन मुळे काय होतं? कंपायलर ती ऍक्शन जी आहे ती ऑप्टिमाइज करू शकतो. म्हणजे जो कोड आपण खाली लिहितोय मेथड, ती ऑप्टिमाइज करू शकतो. म्हणजे ऑप्टिमाइज झाला म्हणजे काय होईल? कंपायलर फास्टली त्याच्यावर ऍक्ट करेल. सो वी आर यूज अनोटेशन. मग अनोटेशन कसं लिहायचं? @ आणि आफ्टर दॅट अनोटेशन नेम. अनोटेशन नेम फर्स्ट लेटर ऑलवेज कॅपिटल. Okay, wait, Tanvi, I will explain that things also. So we are learn abstract class, abstract methods, single inheritance, and super. So is it done? Kaushik, Hatte, and all other members. Okay. So next question from Tanvi. Explain purpose of abstract class. Okay. Look here. At the beginning, I create one file. That file name is abstract class, right? That file holding a main method. So whatever things we need to execute, that will be execute from this main method. So here I just create the object of our child class like this. It's a create object of child class. That object name ATM to kepa. It's a object name equal to new. And the unit and pass here. And after that, I need to display the things, right? So object name dot display conversion, and that display conversion for what? We are use unit kepa. So kepa. Okay, so that's things we are going to display. That's when it is K part, right? So when we are execute, we can get accurate conversion result. So Tanvi, did you understand why we are use abstract class? Oh, so is any other question are there? अभिषेक हे बघा तुम्ही मला चॅटवर विचारू शकता. मी तुम्हाला कन्व्हर्जन करून व्यवस्थित सांगेन मराठीमधून सुद्धा. पण इंग्लिश का गरजेचं आहे? हे बघा, जेव्हा ॲक्चुअली आपण जेव्हा आय-टी एम-एन-सीमध्ये काम करतो, आपले सगळे क्लायंट जे आहेत, म्हणजे आपण जरी भारतामध्ये काम करत असलो, तरी सगळे क्लायंट जे आहेत, म्हणजे ज्यांच्यासाठी आपण काम करतो, ते भारतीय नसतात. मॅक्सिमम टाईम भारतीय नसतात. आणि खूपदा आपल्याला त्यांच्यासोबत कम्युनिकेशन करावं लागतं. त्यांना आणि हे कम्युनिकेशन लाईव्ह होतं, मीटिंगमध्ये होतं. म्हणजे सगळी टीम बसून त्यांच्यासोबत कम्युनिकेशन करते. कशामध्ये? तर स्क्रम कॉल म्हणतात त्याला, स्क्रम कॉलिंग. मग स्क्रम कॉलिंगमध्ये ते म्हणजे त्यांचं जे काही रिक्वायरमेंट आहे ते गॅदर केली जाते किंवा आपला कोड पुढच्या टीमसाठी एक्सप्लेन केला जातो. मग हे कम्युनिकेशन मॅक्सिमम क्लायंट अंडरस्टँडेबल लँग्वेजमध्ये होतं. त्यामुळे आत्तापासून आपल्याला सवय पाहिजे इंग्लिश ऐकायची. मला माहिती आहे, मी सुद्धा मराठी मीडियममधून अ, अ, 10वी पर्यंत केलं होतं. सुरुवातीला ऐकताना झोप येते, बरोबर आहे? हं. पण आपण जर कॉन्स्टंटली इम्प्रोव्हायझेशन करत राहिलो, तर मग ती सवय पडत जाते. अ, तुमच्या रिक्वेस्टनुसार मी मराठीमध्ये सुद्धा सगळं लेक्चर देईन. पण सेकंड पार्टमध्ये. म्हणजे पहिला पार्ट आपण जो आहे तो शिकून घेऊ आणि नंतर त्याचं कन्व्हर्जन मी तुम्हाला मराठीमध्ये देत जाईन. ओके. सो जायचं पुढे? ओके. सो
So I
बिफोर
have a question.
येस.
Can a subclass override a static method of the superclass?
Look here, we we are right a method that a method is abstract method because method is a from abstract class. So static method it can be override, but if you write a method is a final, then it cannot be override. Is any other question? When we are use a final for any class member, that class member cannot be override. That means if we are use a final for method, then that method cannot be override in a child class. If we are use a final for variable, then that value of that variable cannot be reassigned. If we are use a final for a class, then that class will not extend in another class. That means inheritance is not possible when we are use a final for a class. So hope you understand that things. Is any other question? Okay, I'm going to post that code on chat box. Okay, I just posted that code on a chat box. Now it's a time for practice. That means whatever things we are learn, we must be practice on a same day. So let's extend this program for different conversions, like we are convert atmosphere to Kepa. Now you can convert the different unit, like okay. I think it's the easiest question that just you need to alter a same thing. So using that things, you can practice the abstract class. You can practice single inheritance. You can practice super constructor. So I'm going to post that things. Yes, please start to write this program. Do not copy paste my program. You can write your own way. But you should be use abstract
Excuse me,
class.
sir.
Yes. Yes,
Sir, can
Tanish.
you give me an idea for the third question? Means it's new to me.
Convert. Look here. Uh, we are converting air pressures, right? So there are number of units of air pressure, like torr is there, Pascal is there, Newton per square meter is there, bar is there, kilopascal is there. So these are units. So you need to identify what's the conversion factor for this unit. That means formula. And if you are get a formula, then you can implement your code with that formula. But make sure you use abstract class to convert that units. Tanish, did you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Absolutely.
ओके. हे बघा, परत एकदा सांगतो सेम गोष्ट आता जी सांगितली ती. जेव्हा आपण कंपनीत काम करतो, तेव्हा क्लायंटची रिक्वायरमेंट खूप वेगवेगळी असते. मी आता 14 वर्ष झाले खूप साऱ्या कंपनीमध्ये काम केलेलं आहे. हे ट्रेनिंग मी आता एक 4 वर्ष झाले चालू केलं. त्याच्या आधी मी कंपनीमध्येच होतो. खूप साऱ्या कंपन्यांची रिक्वायरमेंट क्लायंटची रिक्वायरमेंट वेगवेगळी असते. मग अशा टाईमला क्लायंट जर काही स्पेसिफिक ॲक्शन परफॉर्म करून मागत असेल, तर आपल्याला त्याच्याबद्दल स्टडी करावं लागतं. जसं की इथे मी दिलं की एअर प्रेशर कन्व्हर्ट करायचं. मग आपण कुठल्याच अकॅडमिकमध्ये एअर प्रेशर शिकत नाही. सी मध्ये तर नाही शिकत. बाकीचं मला माहित नाही. सी मध्ये तर मी कुठेही एअर प्रेशर शिकलो नाही. मग अशा टाईमला आपल्याला काही सर्च करावं लागतं, की एअर प्रेशर म्हणजे काय? त्याचे युनिट्स कुठले-कुठले आहेत कन्व्हर्जनचे आणि त्याचे फॉर्म्युला काय आहेत कन्व्हर्जनचे आणि जेव्हा आपण हे बॅकग्राऊंड स्टडी करतो तेव्हा आपण त्या स्टडीवरून आपला कोड इम्प्लिमेंट करू शकतो. त्यामुळे स्टडी करणं कधीच थांबत नाही. तर त्यासाठी मी हे एक डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन घेतलं ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासचं इन अ रिअल टाईम, की कशा पद्धतीने आपण आपलं लॉजिक हे डेव्हलप करू शकतो. जरी आपल्याला त्याबद्दल माहिती नसेल तरी. So please start to write this program, but do not use my own program. मी जो पोस्ट केलाय तो वापरू नका. हे प्रॅक्टिससाठी आहे. तुम्हाला ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास लिहिता आला पाहिजे, कन्स्ट्रक्टर लिहिता आला पाहिजे, ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड लिहिता आली पाहिजे आणि त्याचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन सुद्धा करता आलं पाहिजे. हां, तुम्ही रेफर करा माझा प्रोग्राम. पण लॉजिक तुमचं लावा. कारण प्रत्येकाचं कोडिंगची टेक्निक वेगवेगळी असते. मग तुम्ही कोड कशा प्रकारे बघताय, हे मला तुम्ही दाखवा तुमचा कोड करून. तो तुमचा रिस्पॉन्स येईपर्यंत, कोडिंग रिस्पॉन्स येईपर्यंत मी माझं माईक ऑफ करतोय. काही क्वेश्चन असतील तर तुम्ही विचारू शकता चॅट बॉक्सवर. मी इथेच अवेलेबल आहे.
Excuse me, sir, you are not.
Hamida, you are doing some mistake. That mistake is what? What we are practice, not only logic. With logic, we are practice concepts. And concept is what? We required abstract class, abstract method, abstract class, abstract method we required. And you need to implement that abstract method within your child class. So Amida, please correct it. After that, Gayatri. Gayatri, you are doing the same thing. हे बघा, आपल्याला क्वेश्चन काय आहे हे परफेक्टली समजलं पाहिजे. नाहीतर याचा परिणाम काय होतो मी सांगतो तुम्हाला. आपण जेव्हा जॉबला लागतो, कोडिंग येत असतात, अजून पुढच्या 4 वर्षात तुम्ही चांगली कोडिंग शिकता. कन्सेप्ट क्लिअर असतात. पण क्वेश्चन विचारलाय आपल्याला उजवीकडे जाण्यासाठी कोड करा आणि आपण जर डावीकडे जाण्यासाठी कोड केला तर टोटली रॉंग होतो क्वेश्चन. टोटली इम्प्लिमेंटेशन रॉंग होतं. आणि त्याचा परिणाम काय होतो? आठवड्यातून 2 तरी स्क्रम कॉल असतात. हे स्क्रम कॉल म्हणजे काय हे आधी समजून घ्या. जेव्हा आपण कोड करतो ना, त्या कोडवर डिपेंडंट खूप सारे जण असतात. म्हणजे आपला कोड वापरून पुढचा कोड काहीतरी कोणतरी करणार असतं. मग अशा वेळेस 2 टीम किंवा 3 टीममध्ये स्क्रम कॉल होतो किंवा विथिन अ टीममध्ये पण स्क्रम कॉल होतो. किंवा क्लायंट साइडला जर तो कोड गेला असेल, तर क्लायंट आणि आपली टीम यांच्यासोबत क्लायंट साइडची टीम आणि आपली टीम यांच्यासोबत स्क्रम कॉल होतो. मग यावेळेस प्रत्येकाला विचारलं जातं, की तू कोड काय केलेला आहे आणि तुझ्या कोडचा इफेक्ट काय? मग जर क्लायंटला डिटेक्ट झालं, की आपला कोड हे टोटली रॉंग आहे आणि त्याच्यामुळे अ, त्याची जी काही अ, पुढची टाईमलाईन आहे, शेड्यूल टाईमलाईन ती चुकते. तर आपल्याला त्यावेळेस खूप सारं प्रेशर सहन करावं लागतं. मग बोलणी खावी लागतात ऑफकोर्स ते असतं. त्यासाठी म्हणतो, की क्वेशन आधी आपल्याला समजला पाहिजे. नाही समजला, तुम्ही तुमच्या मॅनेजरला विचारू शकता. प्रत्येक टीमला मॅनेजर असतो. नाही समजलं मॅनेजरला विचारायचं मला काय करायचं नेमकं हे कळालं नाही आज. सो काय करायचं कन्व्हर्जन करायचंय, पण नॉर्मल कन्व्हर्जन नको विथ कन्सेप्ट पाहिजे. कन्सेप्ट काय पाहिजे? तर ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासचा वापर झाला पाहिजे. ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथडचा वापर झाला पाहिजे. जर ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास आणि ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथडचा वापर होतोय, म्हणजे इनहेरिटन्स, सिंगल इनहेरिटन्सचा पण वापर होतो. सो प्लीज यूज ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लास. येस, सुकन्या. दॅट्स गुड. सुकन्यानी हां, सुकन्यानी परफेक्टली ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासचा वापर केलाय. सुशांतनी सुद्धा ॲब्स्ट्रॅक्ट क्लासचा वापर व्यवस्थित केलेला आहे. म्हणजे आपण हे पहा, कुठलाही प्रोजेक्ट जेव्हा बनतो ना, तेव्हा या छोट्या-छोट्या गोष्टींपासूनच मोठा प्रोजेक्ट बनत असतो. आपण डायरेक्टली प्रोजेक्ट करायचा म्हणजे डायरेक्टली फ्रंट एंड, बॅक एंड असं नाही तयार करत. आपण आधी त्याचं आर्किटेक्चर तयार करतो. त्या आर्किटेक्चरचं डेटाबेस आधी तयार करतो. डेटाबेस, डेटा फ्लो डायग्राम काढल्यानंतर आपण जे आहे ते पॅकेजिंग करतो म्हणजे डिरेक्टरी स्ट्रक्चर बनवतो आणि त्याच्यानंतर कोड चालू होतो. म्हणजे आपल्याला परफेक्टली हे माहीत असतं, की आउटपुट याचं काय येणार आहे. आणि कृपया कोड करताना एआयचा वापर करू नका. का सांगतोय मी? कारण तुम्हाला रेडी कोड मिळेल आणि रेडी कोड मिळाल्यानंतर पुढे जाऊन काय ह्याचं हे होतं, की तुम्हाला कोड करायची प्रॅक्टिस तुटेल. एआय आला आहे, त्याचा एआय कोडिंगमध्ये वापर होतो, पण एवढा पण होत नाही. म्हणजे कारण का? एआयचे कोड जे आहेत, ते पब्लिकली अवेलेबल असतात. तुम्हाला त्यामध्ये पण चेंजेस करावे लागतात. अकॉर्डिंग टू युअर प्रोजेक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट. मग अशा वेळेस एआयचा कोड मिळाला म्हणजे आपल्याला तेवढाच कोड माहिती असतो. पण त्यामध्ये काय चेंजेस करायचं हे जे कोडिंग कळतं, तेव्हाच ते चेंजेस करू शकतो. अदरवाईज एआय कोड कंपनीमध्ये काही कामाचा नसतो. तुम्हाला चेंजेस करता पण आले पाहिजेत कोडमध्ये. त्यामुळे प्रॅक्टिससाठी अजून तुमच्याकडे काही वर्ष आहेत. तुम्ही कोडिंग प्रॅक्टिस चांगली करू शकता विथआऊट यूज ऑफ एआय. इंटरफेस आज आपण स्टार्ट करणार नाही आहोत interface and other types of inheritance we can continue tomorrow. आणि इंटरफेस टॉपिक मोठा आहे आणि तो डिटेलमध्ये समजून घेणं गरजेचं आहे, कारण खूप साऱ्या गोष्टी जेव्हा आपण ऍक्च्युली कोड करतो तेव्हा मॅक्झिमम टाइम आपण इंटरफेसचा वापर करणार आहोत. त्यामुळे इंटरफेस हे डिटेलमध्ये समजून घेणं गरजेचं आहे आणि त्यासाठी थोडा टाइम जास्त लागेल आपल्याला. If you want, I will explain annotation. But instead annotation, you can expect from me that lambda, because most of time we are use make a shorter thing, and to make a shorter code we are use a lambda maximum time. So instead to learn annotation, we can go with lambda. Is Aditya Kolhapur. And what's the Tanvi? Okay. So Tanvi, I'm going to post uh, some algorithms for you, but it's not enough. Oh, and that's the answer for Tanvi. Tanvi, to get maybe you are third year students from diploma, right? Am I right? Am I right, Tanvi? Okay. So you have 3 years. So within that 3 years, at least you can complete and practice 50 algorithms, which I posted here. When your command over that algorithm, then of course that you can get maximum package. And one more thing, अल्गोरिदम आपण जेव्हा स्टडी करतो ना, तेव्हा त्याचं लँग्वेजची काहीही संबंध नसतो. काहीही संबंध नसतो. कुठल्याही लँग्वेज एकदा अल्गोरिदम आपल्याला अंडरस्टँड झाला, कळाला, की तो अल्गोरिदम आपल्याला कुठल्याही लँग्वेजमध्ये इम्प्लिमेंट करता आला पाहिजे. दॅट्स ट्रू. विथ दिस Tanika. Actually, I have some notes and special book regarding this, which I am write in 2022. So we will learn that all things when we are start DSA. Students, I'm waiting your responses. सगळ्यांकडे लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉप आहे. नसेल तर तुम्ही मोबाईलमध्ये प्रॅक्टिस करणं खूप अवघड होतं. एक तुम्हाला सांगतो. कधीही कोडिंगची प्रॅक्टिस करताना आपल्याला लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉपची गरज लागतेच. मोबाईलमध्ये अवेलेबिलिटी आहे, पण ती फक्त बेसिकसाठी आहे आणि आपण लवकरच ॲडव्हान्समध्ये स्विच होणार आहोत. म्हणजे साधारण अजून आपल्याला किती काळ लागेल? उद्या इनहेरिटन्स संपेल, त्यानंतर इनपुट आउटपुट संपेल, त्याच्यानंतर मल्टी थ्रेडिंग अँड कलेक्शन संपेल आणि त्यानंतर आपण स्विच होऊ थोडा ऍडव्हान्स मध्ये JDBC आणि हायबरनेट JPA मध्ये. मग तेव्हा हे मोबाईलवरचे आयडी काहीच कामाचे नाहीयेत तुमच्या. सॉरी, मोबाईलवरचा जो काही ऑनलाईन कंपायलर तो हेल्प करू शकणार नाहीये. हा, फुल स्टॅक हे बघा, फक्त DSA वर कुठलाही जॉब नसतो. DSA कशासाठी पाहिजे असतं? जेव्हा तुम्ही जॉबला लागता, तेव्हा कुठलाही सॉफ्टवेअर इम्प्लिमेंट करण्यासाठी त्यामध्ये छोटासा एक पार्ट DSA म्हणून DSA वापर. जसं की 2020 मध्ये आमच्या क्लायंटची रिक्वायरमेंट होती. काय रिक्वायरमेंट होती? तर त्याला नियरेस्ट पॉइंट सर्च करायचे होते. म्हणजे नियरेस्ट पॉइंट सर्च त्याचं एक वेगळं ह्याच्यासाठी. मग नियरेस्ट पॉइंट स्पेसिफिक लोकेशन सर्च करायचे होते. मग करंट लोकेशन पासून. मग तेव्हा आम्हाला शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ फाइंडिंगचे अल्गोरिदम इम्प्लिमेंट करावं लागेल. इथे रेडी अल्गोरिदम इम्प्लिमेंटेशन पण मिळतं, पण कंपनी रेडी वापरत नाही. प्रत्येक लायब्ररी स्वतःची तयार करते. त्यामुळे रेडी वापरलं जात नाही कुठलीही गोष्ट. आता तुम्ही रेडी कुठून वापरू शकता? Googleचे खूप सारे लायब्ररी रेडी आहेत. जसं की यांनी म्हटलं आता मशीन लर्निंग पायथॉनचे आहेत. त्याचे खूप सारे लायब्ररी रेडी असतात. पण कंपनी स्वतःची लायब्ररी डेव्हलप करण्याकडे त्यांचं जास्त हे असतं. का? कारण ती लायब्ररीला ते त्यांची टीम कंट्रोल करू शकतो. जर एक्सटर्नल लायब्ररी वापरली तर त्याच्यावर कंट्रोल राहत नाही. जर एखादं अपडेट आलं, एखादं बग आलं किंवा एखादा तुम्हाला माहीत असेल 2022 मध्ये Log4j नावाचा एक लायब्ररी आहे. Log4j जावाची आहे. मग याच्यामध्ये काही बग्स होते आणि त्या बगमुळे कोड ॲप्लिकेशन हॅक होत होतं. मग अशा प्रकारचे रिस्क कुठली कंपनी जास्त घेत नाही. त्यामुळे ते मॅक्सिमम ट्राय करतात, की स्वतः ती लायब्ररी इम्प्लिमेंट करतील. येस Amida, I know that things. Uh, what the things I am explaining here other than our full stack? The question is what that full stack is worth. Yes, of course. Maximum time when we are develop any software, there are two parts. Back-end developers are there, front-end are there. But company required cost cutting. That means company select that candidate who have both knowledge, back-end as well as front-end. So they can make their proper costing. So that's why full stack is worth. Within that full stack, we are use some DSA. Like in 2021, I have one client. That client required a nearest location from their current location. So we implement their one algorithm that is find out nearest paths. And I'm discuss that things. Maximum time companies are use their own library instead to use the ready library, because most of time ready library are not controlled by that product company. So that's why there are chances to hack your software. There are chances to make a bugs from your software. So that's why maximum companies are created their own libraries for algorithms to implement algorithms. So that's why with a full stack, if you have a DSC knowledge, then it's well and good. Yes, of course. Um, at 2005, I completed my graduation in computer science. After that, uh, on that year, that means I'm gold medalist on that year. My team are created one antivirus. That antivirus is for catch and lock Win32 virus. On that time, we are use maximum users are use Windows XP, and that Windows XP is very hectic when it's enter a virus, and we are catch and not normalize but lock that virus. And according to that, our implementation, we get good score in our final year. After that, I started work in Quick Help as a junior developer. I write some viruses and other all things. After that, I switch my company in Symantec. After Symantec, I switch. Symantec means Norton. I'm developing there some firewalls. After that, after Symantec, I switched to the banking domain company, that is Ernst and Youngs. With Ernst and Youngs, I handle some regions like Singapore and Bangladesh. After leave that company, the last company is Virtusa. But within that period, I work in college also because I need masters. So that's why in a maybe a 2 3 years I worked within college also for a masters, and I complete my masters there. And after that, switch to Virtusa. In Virtusa, I worked in till 2020. That's my last company. And last my designation is system architect. Yes, Prajakta. Yes, what's the question, Prajakta? Prajakta More. And from 2021, I deliver lectures over technology, Java, Python. Yes, Prajakta More, what's your question? Okay, so machine learning. I'm totally from development background, so I'm not a participant in any hackathon. Hackathon is for those who are practicing a code. Who is this? Abdul. Abdul? Can you tell me you are from which year? That means third year, second year from diploma or engineering? Because for AI, ML, for AI, you required to understand algorithms. There are lots of algorithms are there. And machine learning is like neuroscience. For that reason, engineering mathematics is enough. There are all things are there like M1, M2, M3. That if you are learn that things very well, then it's enough for you. Okay. Yes, AI. Look here, AI are developed app, but it's a basic app. It's not like a production level. AI will be developed production level app up within 4 or 5 years. Not right now. Right now, they are develop only basic apps because production level is very vast. They required many interfacing. Okay, students. I hope you are right. These all problem statement implementation. So see you tomorrow on a same link on a same time. And we will continue with the question answering also tomorrow. So thank you very much for attending today's class. Uh, that what's is a path. We will discuss that things tomorrow. I will explain you that all things. So thank you very much to attending today's class. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Just wait. I'm going to take attendance. Okay, it's done. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.